Hi, my name is Dan Hauptman, and I'm one of your instructional coaches in the Palmdale School District. And we're going to take a look at some of the new features that Hāpara has in store for you. And most of these, if not all, have already been released to you. So first things first, I'm already in highlights. A couple things that they've changed. First of all, I can quickly switch between screens and tabs. It used to be where you had multiple choices up here at the top. Now it's just that quick switch off right here. It used to be all the way up here. That's the first thing. Second thing is the new beta that they've rolled out to Palmdale exclusively, and that's record. So here's the record button. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the record button for 30 minutes. Now what it's going to do is, as it's recording, notice it says right there it's recording. It is actively, I'm going to switch over to the recording tab here. It'll be actively recording the student's history as they are working. And so we'll take a look at that at the end of the video and we'll see what we capture. The other thing I want to mention is that inside the tabs or the screens view, you have these little lightning bolts next to the X's. Now we're used to the X's that when we hit that button, we get to either close for the student, block for the student, or block for the class. And then we can also let them know the reason why we're blocking it. That's been there and that's not changing. But now we have these close instantly buttons. When you close instantly, what ends up happening is, I'm going to do it right here for this one because this student should not be reading about the Jets. It'll close it instantly. And on the other side, which you can't see, and I understand that, but on the student side, it says that it was closed by the teacher, which was me. If they try to go back to it, they'll still be able to go back to it, and they won't get that block that you might get right here. It's just one of those like real quick close instantly. So here's another one. There's a student. Let me switch over to the screens who's watching a video here. I can do the same thing right here. Close it instantly, and now it's closed. And you can see sort of that there's like a little blurb here that it was closed up. So that's a really cool feature that they've added. Another thing that they've added is the ability to share your screen with your students. This is something that we have been asking Hāpara to do for a very long time, and I think there's a lot of external programs that do it, that they are now seeing the need for it. So I have an Amplify 5th grade presentation here. I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to choose the presentation, and I'm going to share it. And what you'll notice over on the class view is that now all the students are viewing shared screen. Now keep in mind that once you do that, it's actually locking down the students into that view. I'm going to switch over here so you'll be able to take a look. I'm actually going to use my phone to record the Chromebook so you can see exactly what they're doing. But the whole point is that they can see exactly what you're presenting. And you don't have to, have all eyes on the front. They can be looking at their Chromebooks. So I'm going to put this into slideshow mode. And now I'm going to move over to my cell phone. I'm actually going to record the Chromebook and what the students see. All right, so as you can see, I've got my students all on the same presentation. I'm going to go ahead and make this a big slideshow. There we go. And so they can't do anything with it. So if you notice, like when they click or they try to go out of full screen, they can do that. But when they go back here, let's say they want to open up a tab here, it kicks them right back into the presentation. So they are stuck. So as you progress through the presentation, they will be able to see what you see. So that's pretty cool. I'm just doing a Google slide presentation that I'm showing. Nothing major. Let me see if I can turn on the pen here. Sorry, no, I'm kind of. So if you want to annotate on it, you can actually annotate on the slides, and it will show up on the students' slides as well. So you can always make those little marks on the presentation as you move through. So let's take a look and see what it looks like on the other side, back on the teacher's side, with screen sharing, and then we'll talk about a couple other things. All right, and I'm back on the teacher computer. So as you can see, there is the annotations that I made. Let me go ahead and go back into class view, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. So you can see it pops them back everywhere that they need to be. The students can continue with their browsing as they were. Remember, you have all these new little areas here where you can either close instantly or choose an option, the tabs. So let's take a look at the recordings. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. There we go. And I'm going to come over here to the recordings tab. And as you can see, we've got a few different sessions that were recorded for the student browsing. Let's take a look at the first one. So I can see all the different links that they were on. I can also take a look and see which students were on what. I can also drop down and see that, okay, these 3 students were on Amplify. This one student was on YouTube, and this one was on ESPN. Or I can see individually where they were. Let me come back here. Let's take a look at this student browsing. We've got more here going on. There's Snoopy. He was on National Geographic. So here's the deal. Let me go back to class view. Is that won't record unless this is turned on. Yes, you have the activity viewer, but what it doesn't give you all the information. It only gives you unique activity. It'll tell you a little bit about who might have been on it and who is active, but just a real easy way to look at the recordings and see what they were on. And so, like I said, just a different way to see how long they were on and what interaction they have. So I like the new recordings button. I think we'll end up seeing the activity viewer going away in lieu of this. You can still come over to the activity viewer and you can still take a snapshot, which we just did, and then come back over to the recordings, and now I've got a snap in there and I can see exactly what they were on. Remember, the whole idea of this is not to get the I gotcha. It's about the student agency and moving them back and forth and making good decisions. I think that's it as far as the updates go. Share links is still in there. Remember, you can share a link to a custom URL or a link directly from your Google Classroom. So you can do either one. So if you have a URL you want to send them to that's specific, or you have something in your Google Classroom you want to send them to, you can do that. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out to myself and I'd be more than happy to help you out. And I hope you have a great day.